But first, I suppose it's football. John Kennedy, Liam Brosnan join us to discuss the action over the weekend. I suppose, John, we better start with you as Liam is still studying there. I suppose yesterday, we'll chat about yesterday. We won't spend much time talking about it because I suppose in the end it was all far too easy. But Kerry gave a sharp, professional performance, job done, in good style, Munster Championship, bank it and off we go.
Yeah, it was a business-like performance, Donal. That sharpness was there, that hunger was there. And I suppose, when the news broke about the passing of Ellen Clifford on Saturday, there was a lot of mixed views in that, would the lads play? How would they be if they did play? And, I suppose, first of all, on my own behalf and behalf of supporters all over the country, I suppose just pass on our condolences to the lads and to Dermot and Shelley, on a very sad passing of Ellen, great GA people. But the performance by the boys, I think Tig Morley said it last night, when the boys arrived at the bus, it probably was the other guys, when they saw that, it was a case of we up our game, and you could sense it. Even looking at him in the warm-up, that sharpness before the game started, David got him in a circle, and there was a determination and a steely look in them, and what a performance the two boys gave, the mental toughness to do that, and then the team responded, and we destroyed Clare really. I thought that Clare would put up better resistance, but the training, the lack of training, I suppose, and the timing after the All-Ireland, coming back late. We've spoken about that a good few times here, but I suppose that block of training in Portugal and what they've done since, certainly we're from being contenders now, we're up there again, as we're in the frame now, and it's time to kick on. And a polished performance, I'd say, really. Some fantastic scores, created a lot of goal chances, got 5, and overall, look, there was never a doubt about it. Great victory, and a morale boosting victory going forward.
Liam, the goals, I mean, we often sat here and say we don't create goal chances, but just to be creative and put them away. I mean, it was nearly thrown back to the team of the 80s, at the ease they got the goals and the movement and the space off the ball, and everybody seemed to be playing for themselves and putting the ball into the right position. There was no kind of selfish play or no one person looking for it. That's what we're looking for in this Kerry team.
Exactly, and it looked like a performance. I know Jack said it after the game that they worked a lot in holidays. I won't say holidays, at the training camp. And the sharpness and the goal. He said lack of goals during the league. It kind of hurted them a small bit, and it did. And we spoke about it here. But yesterday you could see from the word go, and I want to reiterate what John said there and send our condolences to the Clifford and O'Shea family, and what a legacy this woman has left us here throughout Ireland, throughout the world. People are going to be looking at these two boys, for the next hopefully 10 years, and it's just an awe. And yesterday was a fitting tribute to Ellen, I suppose, with the two boys, the way they played, and it just shows that what kind of a football family they're, number one. And at the end of the day, it was their mother. Football aside, we all get one mum and dad, and it's tough on them, and the next few days will be tough on them. But like Jack said, the team and the county and the country will get behind them, and hopefully that this might put a bit of a spark on this Kerry team. And I think yesterday it did. You could see, like John said, from the word go, from the national anthem, from the warm up, you could see there was a bit of urgency. Everyone wanted to do. They want. We've heard it down through the years of teams when a loss in the camp or a loss, teams step up. And I hope this year that, and I think the boys will say, look, let's try to do this for David and Paddy. And I think yesterday was the start of it. But definitely the goal side of it yesterday, I was very happy, because being a forward, and like John, it was something during the National League that we were kind of criticising a lot. But yesterday we looked a lot sharper. Tony Brosnan was doing all the right things. We were given the right pass at the right time, that kind of a way. Whereas before we had to head down and taking that extra bit of a solo, but yesterday running off the shoulder, you could see everything was right there. The only kind of thing that I'd be half worried about was when Clare ran at us. At times we were kind of in trouble, down through the middle.
Scored 15 points.
They scored 15 points, yeah.
It's a reasonable score.
At times, even in the first half there, where they kicked the ball into the goalkeeper's hands and kicked wide, we were marking space, and then we were forgetting about the fella that was gone inside us. We won't get away with that with better team playing against better teams. That's the only worrying aspect. But look, that's something to work on.
Yeah.
But at least
you're going to get that in a shootout game.
You
anyway.
are,
I mean, Kerry didn't sit back. They went full fire. John usually got some odds in petty power for Dylan Casey to score a point on his debut and the very first point of the game.
Yeah. And it's something like, it's great to see a guy like that coming in. Graham O'Sullivan did it last year, came in and nailed down a place. Dylan came in and did very well, and it just goes to show, Jack has always said that the guys in training will get the nod, and he didn't look out of place. He played really well. He was up in attack. He did his defensive duties when he had to. Very impressive performance.
It's like Clare were talking about, this full forward line that they had.
That's right.
No, Keelan Sexton only scored 2 points. Right. No, so we really shut them down.
But I think Jason Foley is turning out to be one of the great full backs in fairness.
Yeah.
He's good in the air. He has the pace, and he has the confidence now.
Yeah.
Just one stat, Donal, that I picked up today about the Cliffords. 23 possessions for Paddy, 16 for David, 3-2 from play, 4 points from frees, that's 3-6, 1-3 from direct assists, and 5 points in direct assists. What an influence in the game.
Absolutely.
Incredible.
Yeah.
On the day that it was, of course.
On the day that it was, yeah.
Which was amazing. Come here, let's go back, see if we're talking about the full back and the corner back, and of course they're all delighted below in St. Mary's and Wortle this evening that Dylan Casey got his debut. Obviously Austin Stacks as well, but we'll have to go back home as well for mother and dad. Now, Shane Ryan and his kickouts and his saves, I mean, it's a crucial part of the game, Liam. Yesterday, I mean, he was well on top of his game from kickouts and possession. Yeah. The first one I think landed straight down top of Jack Barry, who went 8 feet high into the sky, and that set him up as well for the day. How important going forward will that position be?
Yeah, goalkeeping, and we've been saying it for years that how influential a goalkeeper is now at inter-county level, and yesterday we had 25 kickouts, we won 23. No, so going forward, that is the stat you need.
Kickouts that are kicked out in such a way that they're giving you a 60-40 chance of winning or 70-30 chance of winning. Long gone are the days that it goes down the field and two men compete. So and he still has to find a pinpoint accurate part
in between maybe 2 or 3 forwards that are kind of playing a zonal defence. So you could see, and his shot stopping yesterday, 2 crucial saves, massive. So he showed why he's an all-star yesterday, and he's going to be very important going forward for Kerry. And I think we have two. We are blessed. We have 2 very good goalkeepers there, but Shane is really kind of heading it now on his own at the moment.
I suppose he's grown into the all-star mode as well. I mean, he's an all-star keeper, and
it probably gives him a lot of confidence as well. And I suppose that's one position where you need a lot of confidence, because when you do make a mistake, you need to be strong enough to brush it off and drive on.
Absolutely. Come here, we'll brush on. Next up is Mayo. We won't go into the whole lot of it. It's been confirmed for Killarney, 3 o'clock on the 20th. Exciting game, John. Is this the kind of game Kerry need now? A good test of the credentials. We've played Tip, we've played Clare. This is a huge step up.
This is Mayo, one of the teams that it's a huge game for both teams. I know that the top team will gone through, and the second and third team will be playing off, as we spoke about off the air. But this is a huge game for Kerry. I think the intensity and the pace of it, while it was up yesterday considerably from the league, I think, Liam, it'll be up again. If you share the stadium, we'll have a huge crowd there. I'd say it'll be a sellout crowd. Even though it's a Saturday, and one of the big ones.
The only thing on that, Liam, and I suppose I'm not 100% confirmed on it, but I'm 96% that's a lot in South Kerry. I think this is going to be one of the paywall games behind J-Go, and we've seen the hurling fraternity give out and the whole lot. And of course, when Sky had these games, we were all up in arms, and God, how could Sky have them when we can't have them? J-Go has them now, and they're still inaccessible in a sense. Now, I know you have to pay for it and a whole lot. What are your views on that?
No, I wouldn't agree with it at all, Donal. I think we're going down. I think the GA has gone down. No, when Sky came in that time, there was open arms that this was the road there, we're going down. And the GA said they weren't.
Yeah. And that was a business decision.
And that was a business decision that time. Because Sky had a few games, but then you had other games on from RT. But at the moment now, they seem to be picking the big games. They did it last weekend and putting it behind us.
Well, they're picking up the Sky games that are in the eater cheaper, obviously, because they don't have Sky. But as it turns out,
they're turning out to be the big games with the hurling and the football, and it's going to be unfortunate that people won't be able to see this game the next unless they pay their, I think it's €17 or something like that, or 70 something euros for the year.
No, the service is quite good, because I do use it. I mean, if you do pay your €70, you have it. But again, I suppose it for some people it's the principle of it, I'd imagine, more than the 17 or the 15
and you see,
euros.
There's a big thing now, Donal, about the GA. Like, we're going to play 28 games to get rid of 4 teams.
That's right, yeah.
They're paying, what you have to pay to watch games now. Are we going down a road now that we won't be able to return very shortly?
Yeah.
I
think we've said it for quite some time, and it's not a criticism. The GA are losing. They're actually gone away from the grassroots totally.
Yeah.
They're not worried about the older stock. Mm-hmm. They're not worried about this pay. That's
not today or yesterday.
No, it's not. And it's you had one of the great hurling games on Saturday evening, Cork and Tipperary. On GA go as well. People are up in arms about it. The main games, Kerry and Mayo on Saturday. Everyone around the country would like to see that game. All GA people. It's going to be one of the great games. It's on GA Go. You have to pay for it. It shouldn't be.
Like, I thought the GA Go was always for the diaspora. Yeah. That's in America and places like that. But now it seems to be, it's kind of like a station now that we're going to put these games on and you have to pay to watch them.
Yeah. Well, I suppose the GA, it's a product at the end of the day, but I suppose from the point of view is that, are we amateur, Liam, or are we professional?
That's that question,
if we're hauling in money on GA Go, the Kerry Clare fellas went out yesterday. I don't think there was a check at the end of the week for the entertainment that they provided. Come here, let's go back for a second. Brian McNamara, a guy that was mentioned loads of times a couple of weeks ago, the Clare midfielder there for the under-20s, the night that Clare nearly stumbled and beat Kerry. He jumped from straight under-20 into senior championship yesterday. That's a big jump for young fellas, is it?
Donald, and I suppose that's the way football has gone now, because back in our day, and I don't know, you'd hate going back in the day, like
4 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago, like in 98 when we won the All-Ireland, there was 4 or 5 of us in with the seniors. Now, there's such a change in the last 10 years, 15 years, that you have to spend 2 or 3 years now in a kind of a development before we can get into the seniors. But we saw Brian that night, and we said it on air, that he was probably the one player out in the field that you could say that he was going, you could pick him out straight away and put him into the senior team.
He looked
like, and he proved it yesterday.
Yeah,
he didn't look like a fish out of water either yesterday.
He won a couple of balls,
good footballer, and he was. And I suppose we didn't give Clare enough credit that night. Mm-hmm. That was a good Clare side, and signs on that they were a lot better than what we thought.
John, I suppose that leads us back to where we're going this conversation. Clare, the under-20s, we beat Cork. Sligo, it was never going to be easy against Sligo. I mean, they're back-to-back Connacht winners, but Kerry was still being favoured by nearly everybody to progress. Football isn't like that, is it?
No, it's not like that. And first of all, I say, we've been there ourselves, Liam, myself. It's the most difficult age group of all, being honest.
What makes it so difficult?
It's the timing of it.
College.
It's the college, Sigerson, it's guys are away, difficult to get them together. And then
is it easier for other counties then to galvanise that, where for us it's more difficult?
Well, I suppose in that side of it, like the seniors, the end all and be all here in Kerry, whereas under 20 level and minor, it's a bonus if you win it. It's not all our eggs. Whereas the likes of Sligo, they had a good team probably, and they said, look, we're going to throw everything behind these, and that's what them counties do. Yeah. But I agree with John, it is a very hard age group. I was involved with college football for years myself, and it's hard because, look, there's guys sitting at home and he can't go out. His buddy's gone out to a house party and stuff like that, and he has to go training to Clare, and he's sitting in the car and drive, and and so there's a lot of juggling going on, and it's winter football then as well with our training.
And like it would be unheard of years ago that the likes of Sligo would beat Kerry in any competition. No disrespect to Sligo, but those days are long gone, because they're putting in a massive effort. The guy in charge of him, his brother is living near us at home, Fintan Henry's brother, and speaking, they're doing everything that all the other counties are doing now. But the change is the confidence they have. What year has been for Sligo? What a few years it's been for them. But I think that the bigger picture here, Donal, is that the standard in Kerry. This is not a go at the management or anything like that. They're playing with the handicaps they're dealt with. I think the calibre of player coming through and the quality is not good enough to win All Ireland, and that's why we're not winning them.
And what I do then as well, and I think that a lot of these guys have played no football, and they haven't played football, and you can be doing all the training you want behind in curtains, but I think 3 or 4 county league matches. Let them play with their seniors. And maybe 2 or 3 weeks before a game, and stop them up, because you could see I always found that if you go to Rathmore, or you're going in to play the Crokes, you'll learn a lot from a guy that you're marking. Whereas when you were behind the wall in Kearns and you're doing a bit of training and you're playing A versus B matches, it's not the same.
And you'll be having the county player going in to a club game. The fella's marking him's having a cut at it.
He's having a cut,
And the other thing is like that how many games have these lads played? How much game time have they got? And since whenever they're training, 3 championship games, carrying a panel, not allowed to play a county league, but yet Jack, after the Tipperary game, he released the players that didn't play out to play county league football. Wasn't that a huge boost for confidence? You're sitting down on the bench today, you're going out tomorrow with your club,
you're getting game time.
You're kicking 7 or 8 points, and you're getting action.
Yeah.
And of course the football you want to be playing loads of comments coming in, of course, to see them. Won't get to all of them, unfortunately. I mean, I could fill the show with the condolences to the Clifford family on my own behalf, certainly to Dermot and Shelley as well. And I think at times too we forget about Shelley. We talk about Pod and we talk about David, and maybe it's just the beast that it is, but obviously Shelley as well, and Dermot, who of course know from my own part of the world back there in Derry. And of course condolences to the Clifford family. Well done to the boys yesterday, great performances across the pitches. We got a right schooling in the under-20. Sligo well disciplined, but the referee was poor, I think. Would like to see the return of the junior championship. Yeah, absolutely. That championship is still going. It's just like Kerry aren't allowed into it. That's for Kilkenny, New York, and those sorts now. Hello everyone, great show as always. Congratulations, Kerry. Yes, but unfortunately Clare were always fighting above their weight. A game a bit more intensity, but with backs versus forwards, and the next round will be more or less the same. There are a few games with only 4 teams being eliminated. I think we touched on that. It's a good point. It's a very roundabout way to get rid of 4 teams. I'm sure if Peter Twist sat down and wanted to get rid of 4 teams fairly quickly, he certainly wouldn't give them 3 games and hang around with it. You move on. Are we taking the players for granted, thinking that they can play all these games at the risk of them getting even injured?
That's the key, and we spoke about it. Injury is going to be a big thing. I see Jack has said today in a couple of interviews that now the shadow boxing is over. But is it? Are you going to go out and you're going to play your full team in all these games where if you win 1 or 2 games you've qualified? Are you going to take a chance of going through the long way or the short way? So it's going to be. And
the other thing we've said about the provincial championships, and it's not beating the same horse again, but 12,000 in the Gaelic rounds yesterday, 11,000 above in Salt Hill or above in Castlebar. For Connacht and Munster finals, you'd be talking about 30 plus. And it just goes to show the people are not going to them.
Yeah. Is that just because who ended up there? I mean, if it was Galway, Mayo and Cork and Kerry, I mean, you're talking 30,000 without even thinking about it.
And that's the imbalances there, Donal.
But I don't know, is it, lads? We were above in Cork last year, and we were on about filling weaving out while he was playing Partney Ring, and it was only barely full. So
you wanted to play in Mahon Point.
That's right. No room. Of course, we would bring that up again.
Let's dig that out of the archives, Ivan. Look, we all love Gaelic football, but it's time for the GA to look at the product that they're trying to sell. Teams can move onto the quarterfinals by winning 1 game. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, and that's Brendan in Boston. Thanks, Brendan, for tuning in with us over there in Boston. Come on, lads, it was clear they were playing. I would not go by this performance. I'm happy that they won, though, and I think that's it. It was the result, and off we went. Nobody got injured. Jason Foley, were you a bit worried there with 60 seconds left when he scrambled off?
It depends, and hopefully it's not a hamstring.
They just give it a bit of a twinge, maybe. Because he walked off kind of okay. With a hamstring, he'd be kind of dragging it.
With any muscle injury this time of the year,
you could be out. 6 weeks.
That's it.
Well done to the Kerry team. Fair play to Clifford's great performance. Well done to our North Kerry man, Jason Foley. And that was from ST, but it wasn't from John Kennedy. Thank you very much, Ivan Tidings. We beat Clare. Don't lose the run of yourself. Dennis in Killarney bring us all back down to earth. Yeah, absolutely, Dennis. I don't think we're losing the run of ourselves in that sense, but I get your point, Dennis. I mean, at the end of the day, Clare, a Division 2 team that got relegated, and they're moving backwards a small bit. Michael Hennessy there on Twitter, question for you. Should there be a bigger punishment for the black card in Gaelic football? 10 minutes in the sin bin in the last few minutes isn't worth the crime. I suppose what's probably happening is fellas are committing black card offences with 4 minutes to go and 6 minutes to go. The black card was brought in for that kind of, I'll pull you down deliberately. I'll ask the Curra mention, you never do anything deliberately.
You never pull anyone down, no. Yeah. But I suppose, look, like you said, it was brought in for that. Punishment, do you call it cuteness or what? Do you want to stop a game with maybe 3 or 4 minutes to go? But it depends where you're going stopping it then as well, because there is the rule there where you could give away a penalty just as quick, so yeah, look, that's something I don't think you'll ever solve. That's just pure cuteness. You would always be giving out about a fella that wouldn't do it, and next thing there'd be a goal conceded at the end, so I'm sure our Kerry ladies would have taken maybe 1 or 2 yellow cards yesterday when Cork were coming after and got the goals, so yeah, I think just a little bit of cuteness, Donal.
But the interpretation of the ref, two occasions just with David Clifford was fouled, should have got the advantage, went on and got the goal, brought it back for a free.
Yeah, I think he understood himself that he made a mistake there.
And in the time of the free, we thought it was a free for Clare, and all the Clare was gone up the field, to be fair, and it was the other way around.
That was a bad call.
We got a goal out of that.
We got a goal out of it, in fairness.
And actually, I was watching it. Tyg Morley thought in his own head it was a free against him, because he travelled away back to the thing. He didn't think it was going the other way. No. And we got that goal out of it. Was it the second goal we got out of it, maybe? Come here, before we finish up tonight, and we go back to the Cliffords, was there a more perfect goal scored by two brothers?
Probably not.
It was perfect
for the day that was in it. Probably not, because when you actually look at it and see where Paddy actually probably, Paddy nearly paused. He nearly paused everything and ran in and just told David where to run and ran out and kicked it back into him. It was that kind of a thing. But definitely, I'd say the man was looking down at that, because David had created the space. He'd pulled his man, and next thing he went back door. But Paddy was after telling him before David ever did it. So it was a lovely way for the boys to hit the back of the net.
Well, we've said here a good few times about Paddy's vision. That was it, wasn't it? He looked up, he pointed where to go, and what a pass. Brilliant.
I suppose it was scored in the backyard a good few times in Fossa, was it?
I'd say it probably was.
They were 7 and 4 years old or something.
But the composure of David then, in the circumstances, you'd think he'd have but he was so composed, so much.
But you could see even that one that you were on about there, where the referee called him back. You could see from the word go, the power that was in the legs. He wanted goals because he was going to rattle in it yesterday.
Well, we'll have to finish up fairly shortly, lads. We have hurling to talk about. James McCarthy's mad to get on the line on the other side. He's there as well. And of course, we're talking pool there around 6:40 as well, so we're gathering it all in. Quick fire questions. Dublin or Louth? One word. Don't give me a synopsis, just tell me who's going to win it.
Dublin.
Who's going to come out of Ulster?
Ulster, Derry.
Do you think so?
Kieran Donaghy won't be a bit happy with him.
I was going to say that.
Derry, I think they will. They have the scoring power in there.
I don't know have the scoring power. I question the scoring power.
And Glass is crucial to him. Glass
is huge.
And I think they had the experience of last year. Are decent, but I think they'll beat him.
Liam Brosnan, who's going to win the under-20s?
The under-20s, I fancy Kildare. I think since last year they're building as well.
You're giving a soft nod to your Castle Island friend there.
Yeah, but no, it's just that they're free scoring. They kick some great scores on Sunday as well. No, I think just that they have more up front than what Sligo have. Even though Sligo like their thing, they work like dogs. But I think just Kildare will have that little bit of.
Sligo lost their captain too, and so did
a massive loss.
Midfielder, a massive loss to the Sligo captain. I'd like to see. I'd like to see Sligo winning it, but I think I'd agree with Liam. I think Kildare might have that be too much.
Liam, you never support Kildare after 98, would you?
No, I shouldn't really. No. Come on, Sligo.
It cost you an All-Ireland. How many medals would you have if you won that one?
Not enough.
Right, good stuff, lads. Thanks very much. We will be back now. We're going to really ramp it up in the next couple of weeks, because, guys, you better get into training, because we have 3 big games coming. Hopefully we have a quarter-final, a semi-final, and All-Ireland final, and we're going to expand our coverage, of course, of the J coming into the season as well. And you don't have to pay Radio Kerry to listen to Terrace Talk. No. So there you go. Next Monday night, free as well.
We could start our own Go page.
You'll be here in time, Liam, will you?
I will. You'll open the door for me.
Good stuff. We'll take a break. We talk hurling.